Before every breakthrough, there's a moment no one else understands. A moment when the world laughs, doubts, or simply ignores you because they can't see what you see. And that's exactly where greatness begins. Not when the proof is in front of you, but when the proof is only in your heart. You don't need the world's permission to dream. You don't need evidence to start. You need one thing: belief so strong it makes the impossible inevitable. Every great story begins long before the applause, long before the headlines, long before anyone around you understands what you're doing. In fact, it usually begins in silence, when no one is watching, when no one is listening, when no one even knows you exist. This is the moment when your vision is born, not out in the open, but in the unseen corners of your own mind. You feel it before you can explain it. You sense it before you can prove it. And that's why so many people give up before they start, because they confuse not being seen with not being real. But the truth is, every masterpiece begins as an invisible blueprint that only the creator can see. Think about the most groundbreaking ideas in history: the light bulb, the airplane, the internet. Every single one of them sounded insane before they became reality. People laughed. They doubted. They told the dreamers to be realistic. But those dreamers weren't waiting for permission. They were too busy building something no one else could imagine yet. That's the power of belief before sight. You're not asking the world to validate your vision. You're declaring it exists even when no one can point to evidence. And that takes more courage than most people will ever understand. This is the moment that tests you the most. When you see nothing around you to confirm you're on the right path, your mind will try to convince you to stop. It will whisper, maybe you're wrong. Maybe this is too big. Maybe it's impossible. And yet, this is the precise moment where champions are made. Because champions don't need proof to keep going. They create the proof through their actions. They show up, they work, they push. And they do it all while staring at an empty canvas. That's not blindness, that's vision in its purest form. And vision, real vision, is a gift and a responsibility. When you've been given an idea, a calling, or a dream that sets your soul on fire, it's not an accident. You're the one who was meant to carry it. The question is, will you protect it, or will you let the noise of the world drown it out? Protecting it means staying committed, even when your bank account says otherwise. It means showing up for your craft, even when no one claps. It means nurturing that seed inside you like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. Your future self is relying on the actions you take when no one's watching. This is why so few people ever truly create the life they want. They're addicted to visible progress. If they don't see results in a week, a month, a year, they call it quits. But the invisible stage is where the most important work happens. It's in this stage that you build resilience, discipline, and self-belief. You learn to operate without the dopamine rush of applause. You learn to push yourself because you've decided you're worth it, not because someone else said so. And when you reach the point where you can stay committed without visible evidence, you've already set yourself apart from 99% of the world. When you understand this truth, you stop rushing the process. You stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You realize that just because you can't see the roots doesn't mean the tree isn't growing. The unseen stage is where your dream is taking form. Every late night, every early morning, every hour spent learning, building, refining, it's all part of the invisible foundation. And when the time comes, when your moment arrives, the world will think it happened overnight. But you'll know the truth. It was years in the making, built in the quiet, invisible spaces where only your belief kept it alive. Before success ever shows up in your life, something else will arrive first. Doubt. It's the first obstacle that will test you, the first shadow that will try to block your light. And it won't always come from strangers or critics. Most of the time, it comes from inside you, in the form of quiet, convincing whispers. It will sound reasonable. It will dress itself in logic. What if you fail? What if this isn't the right time? What if you're not ready? This is the first gate on the path to greatness. And most people never get past it. They hear the voice, they mistake it for truth, and they turn back before they've even taken the first real step. The reason doubt feels so powerful is because it pretends to be your friend. It pretends it's protecting you from embarrassment, from risk, from wasting time. But in reality, doubt's only job is to keep you exactly where you are. It thrives on keeping you small, safe, and stuck. The irony is that the same mind that gave birth to your vision will try to destroy it the moment it feels threatened. And make no mistake, pursuing something bigger than yourself will always threaten the comfortable parts of you. That's why your first real battle is not with the world, it's with your own mind. This is where the majority of dreams die. In the mind, before they've ever been tested in reality. People will talk themselves out of their own destiny because they mistake uncertainty for a stop sign. But uncertainty is not a reason to quit. It's a signal you're in new territory. And new territory is exactly where growth happens. If you only move forward when you feel certain, you'll never move at all. You have to learn to take steps when the path isn't fully lit, trusting that each step forward will reveal the next. That's how leaders, innovators, and visionaries operate. They walk into the unknown before anyone else dares to. The real turning point is when you stop waiting for doubt to disappear. It won't. Doubt will always ride in the back seat. The key is to refuse to give it the steering wheel. You keep moving, even with the voice in your head telling you to stop. You keep building, even with the fear of failure hanging over you. That's where strength is forged. Not when you feel confident, but when you act in spite of not feeling ready. Every single step you take while carrying doubt weakens its hold on you. One day you look back and realize it was never as powerful as it seemed. It only had the power you gave it. And here's something most people never understand: the presence of doubt does not mean the absence of potential. In fact, the bigger your vision, the louder the doubt will be. That's because you're stretching your identity, stepping into a version of yourself you've never been before. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. It feels like you're breaking apart. But that's because you are breaking apart the old version of you that can't handle the life you're building. The new version is taking shape, and doubt is simply the growing pain that comes with transformation. Once you see doubt for what it really is, it loses its power. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if I succeed? What if this works? What if I'm more capable than I've ever given myself credit for?" That shift in questions is the shift that changes your life. Because the moment you stop letting doubt dictate your choices, you open the gate to everything that's been waiting for you. And while most people are still standing at the starting line, negotiating with their fears, you've already stepped through. You've already begun. You've already claimed a future they'll never touch. because you broke through the first gate and you didn't look back. Most people treat faith like a prize you get after you've already won. They think they can only feel confident once they have results, once they see proof, once the world nods in agreement. But faith doesn't work that way. Faith is not the reward, it's the fuel. It's the fire you light before the journey even begins. Without it, you never leave the starting line. And the truth is, if you wait to believe until you see, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. The people who change their lives don't wait for confirmation. They decide first, commit first, and act first. The evidence comes later. It's easy to believe when the bank account is full, when the phone is ringing, when the audience is cheering. But that's not belief, that's reaction. Real belief is forged in the moments when you have nothing in your hands, but the conviction in your heart. When you wake up to an empty calendar, but still show up as if you're fully booked. When you're creating in a quiet room, knowing that one day the world will hear you. That's faith. It's living in the gap between where you are and where you want to be, without letting the gap shake you. It's refusing to shrink your dream to fit your current reality. The mistake most people make is they want certainty before they act. They want someone to guarantee that if they work, they'll win. But life doesn't hand out guarantees. It hands out opportunities. And opportunities only become reality when you meet them with belief. Think about it. Every single person you admire once stood exactly where you are, with no proof it would work. They moved anyway. They invested anyway. They kept going when every logical sign told them to stop. That's the difference between the ones who built something extraordinary and the ones who let their dreams die in the planning stage. Faith is a discipline, not a feeling. You don't wake up every day naturally believing. You wake up and choose it. You speak it into existence before anyone else does. You declare it to yourself until it's louder than the doubt in your head. And the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. At first, it feels like you're pretending. It feels like you're lying to yourself. But as you keep showing up, your actions start aligning with your belief. And suddenly what once felt like a stretch becomes second nature. You start to notice that the world bends toward the energy you carry. That's the part people don't see. Belief changes the way you move. And the way you move changes the way the world responds to you. When you believe in something deeply, your voice changes. Your posture changes. Your decisions change. People can sense it before you open your mouth. It's the reason someone with half the skill, but twice the belief can outpace someone far more talented. The belief pushes them to act faster, try harder, and refuse to quit. And in the game of life, that relentless commitment always beats hesitant talent. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to have opportunities fall into their lap, it's rarely luck, it's alignment. They believed first, acted like it was already happening, and the world matched their energy. Faith has a way of unlocking doors you didn't even know existed. It's not magic, it's movement. The moment you decide that your dream is inevitable, you start showing up in ways you never did before. And when you show up differently, the world shows up differently for you. That's why faith is never the end of the journey. It's the starting point. Everything begins the moment you believe without seeing. Everything accelerates the moment you stop waiting for proof. The world doesn't just see you, it reflects you. Every room you walk into, every conversation you have, every opportunity that comes your way is influenced by the way you carry yourself. You could have the greatest idea in the world, but if you present it with hesitation, people will hesitate with you. If you speak your dreams as if you're asking for permission, the world will treat them like a favor it might grant if it feels generous. But when you walk in with conviction, when you speak with the certainty of someone who knows it's already done, everything changes. People lean in. They listen differently. They take you seriously, not because they've seen the results, but because they can feel your belief in yourself. Your inner conviction is like an unspoken language, and it communicates faster and louder than words ever can. You can't fake it, not for long, because the energy you carry will always reveal what you truly think about yourself. If you're unsure, your body will tell on you. Your tone will soften. Your shoulders will drop. Your eyes will dart away. But when you truly believe, it's in your voice. It's in your stance. It's in the way you hold the silence between words. That presence tells people, I'm not here to ask if I can do this. I'm here to show you that I already am. And that unshakable presence is magnetic. People are drawn to certainty, especially in a world where so many are uncertain. If you've ever wondered why the same idea can be rejected from one person and embraced by another, it often comes down to the belief behind it. Confidence is contagious. When you radiate conviction, you make others feel safer in following you, investing in you, or supporting you. They see that you've already bought into your own vision, and that's the first sale you'll ever make. Selling yourself to yourself. Once you've done that, convincing others becomes natural, almost effortless. But this level of conviction doesn't happen overnight. It comes from building an internal foundation that no rejection can shake. You get it by showing up for yourself when no one else is watching. You get it by keeping the promises you make to yourself, even when they're inconvenient. Every time you do what you said you'd do, you add another brick to the wall of your belief. And when that wall is high enough, nothing can tear it down. Not criticism, not doubt, not even temporary failure. Because you're no longer depending on outside validation to define you. You know who you are and what you're capable of, regardless of what's happening around you. This is why people who believe in themselves often succeed, even without the perfect circumstances. They create momentum through the force of their conviction. They make others want to be a part of their vision because their belief is so strong it spills over into the people around them. It inspires trust. It sparks curiosity. It makes others want to see what you see. You stop chasing approval and start attracting allies. You stop begging for opportunities and start creating them. That's the difference between someone who waits to be chosen and someone who chooses themselves. When you understand that the world is a mirror, you stop trying to convince it with words alone. You start aligning your entire being with the outcome you want. You stand taller. You speak clearer. You operate from a place of when, instead of if, and little by little, the world starts reflecting that back to you. Opportunities come faster. People start believing before they've even seen proof. Because your energy tells them it's already real. You stop needing external permission to move forward. Because your conviction becomes the permission. And once you've reached that level, there's no turning back. Because the world will always respond to the strength you project. There is a space between believing and seeing. A stretch of time that feels like it goes on forever. This is the stage where nothing seems to be happening, where the results you're chasing are nowhere in sight. It's quiet, sometimes painfully so. The applause hasn't started, the recognition hasn't arrived, and the payoff feels far away. This is the place where most people give up. They think silence means failure. They think stillness means nothing is moving. But this stage isn't a pause. It's the forge. It's the place where the heat is the highest, where the pressure is the greatest, and where you are being shaped into the person capable of holding the success you're chasing. In this stage, discipline becomes your lifeline. When you can't see results yet, the only thing you have is your ability to keep showing up. And this is where so many fail. They mistake the absence of visible progress for the absence of progress altogether. But growth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides, developing quietly in the background, until one day it bursts into the open. You don't get to skip this part. This is where you develop the habits, the mindset, and the resilience that will sustain you when the success finally arrives. Without it, even if you reach your goal, you won't be able to hold on to it. Think of this stage like the training ground before a championship fight. You're in the gym every day, repeating the same movements, pushing through fatigue, drilling the basics. It can feel repetitive, even boring, but this is where the strength is built. The people who skip the grind are the ones who crumble when the spotlight hits. But those who embrace it come out sharper, faster, more prepared than anyone else. They know that while others were chasing instant wins, they were building something that will last. The gap between believing and seeing isn't wasted time. It's the time that prepares you to win and win big. This is also the stage that tests your patience like nothing else. You'll see people who started after you getting results before you. You'll wonder if you're falling behind, if you've made a mistake, if it's even worth it. That's when comparison becomes your biggest enemy. The truth is, you have no idea what's happening behind someone else's curtain. You don't know their journey, their resources, or their sacrifices. What you do know is your path, and if you abandon it too soon, you'll never find out how close you really were. Every single day, you keep moving forward in this gap is a day you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted with your own dreams. The beauty of this stage is that it builds an unshakable kind of confidence. When you've learned to move without applause, you're no longer dependent on it. When you've built in the dark, you're not afraid of the light. This kind of inner strength doesn't fade when the crowd leaves, because you've already learned how to keep going without them. The gap between believing and seeing turns you into the kind of person who doesn't need motivation every day. They run on discipline, on vision, on the understanding that success isn't about flashes of brilliance, but about consistency over time. And when you finally cross that gap, when the results arrive, when the world sees what you've been working toward, you'll realize it wasn't just the dream that came true. You'll realize that you have changed. You've become someone different, someone stronger, sharper, more resilient than you were when you started. And that's the real reward of the in-between stage. The dream matters, yes, but the person you become on the way to it matters more. And once you've been through the forge, you'll carry that strength into every new challenge, knowing that no matter how long the gap lasts, you'll have what it takes to cross it. There comes a moment when your belief reaches a level where the question is no longer if it will happen. It's simply when you stop playing the guessing game. You stop negotiating with your dream as if it's optional. The belief is so deeply rooted that you can already see the outcome in your mind, feel it in your body, and live as if it's already here. At that point, you're not just chasing a possibility, you're executing a certainty. And that shift changes everything. Your words change, your actions change, the way you carry yourself changes. Because now, every move you make is aligned with the future you've already claimed. When belief becomes unshakable, you stop getting distracted by temporary setbacks. A rejection doesn't crush you, it informs you. A delay doesn't discourage you, it prepares you. You stop measuring progress by the absence or presence of immediate results and start measuring it by how consistently you're moving toward the outcome. You know that the seeds you've planted are growing, even if you can't see the roots yet. That kind of belief is like a force field. It shields you from the noise, the doubt, and the negativity that used to knock you off course. The beauty of this stage is that your energy starts working for you in ways you couldn't have predicted. When you believe so strongly, people feel it before they even understand it. They see the certainty in your eyes, they hear it in your voice, they sense it in the way you show up. This creates momentum. Doors begin to open, not because the world suddenly decided to favor you, but because you've been radiating a level of conviction that makes others want to align with you. You attract allies, resources, and opportunities that match the frequency of your belief. This isn't about blind optimism. It's about disciplined alignment. You've made the decision, and now everything you do reflects it. Your mornings, your evenings, your habits, your conversations, everything starts pointing toward the goal. And because your actions are in sync with your belief, progress accelerates. Even small steps compound into big wins because you're no longer wasting energy questioning whether you're on the right path. You've decided. You're in. And that decisiveness frees you from the hesitation that slows most people down. There's a certain power in living as though your vision is already reality. You begin to prepare for it, make space for it, and operate at the level it demands before it arrives. If you want to be a leader, you start leading now. If you want to be financially free, you start managing your money now. If you want to be world class in your craft, you train as if the world is already watching. This proactive preparation is what makes seeing inevitable. Because when the opportunity finally arrives, you're not scrambling to be ready. You're already there, already operating at that standard, already capable of holding the success that's coming. And then something incredible happens. You realize that the belief itself was the turning point all along. It wasn't waiting for a breakthrough that changed you. It was deciding, without a shred of proof, that the breakthrough was inevitable. That decision shifted your focus, sharpened your actions, and rewired your entire approach. The results you now see are simply the physical manifestation of what you had already decided in your mind. You didn't wait for the world to give you permission to see. You believed, you acted, and you created the reality you were waiting for. So here's the truth. Your dream doesn't start the day the world applauds you. It doesn't start the day your bank account fills or your name is in lights. It starts the moment you decide to believe without seeing. That decision is the seed. That belief is the soil. And your relentless action is the water. You've been waiting for proof. But proof is nothing more than the shadow of what's already been created in your mind. The moment you choose to believe, you've already set the future in motion. Stop waiting for permission. Stop measuring your worth by what's in front of you right now. The life you want is already waiting for you. but it's only visible to the version of you who refuses to give up in the dark. Hold your vision so tightly that nothing can shake it. Live as if it's already yours. Work as if the world has already caught up to what you know inside. Because when you believe before you see, the seeing isn't just possible, it's inevitable. And when that day comes, the world won't just witness your dream, it will wonder how you made it happen. And you'll know the answer. You believed first.